So I heard 2016 makeup is trending and I wanted to hop on the trend because 2016, girl, that was really when all of the makeup gurus started like popping off. Oh God, what a time. 2016 makeup for me, when I look back on it, it was so cringe the way I did my makeup. That was really the year that I was like starting to really get into beauty in general. That was really when I started learning about makeup, to be honest with you. I did dabble in high school. I graduated in 2015. 2016, when I started living on my own, I had just started college. I mean, at that time, makeup was life, you know? So I thought it'd be fun to create a video redoing 2016 makeup the way we used to do it in 2016. Honestly, parts of this video might be still a little cringe, but I'm not holding back. So now in 2026, you can get away with not wearing any primer. I know a lot of girls that don't even prefer primer. 2016, that was a no-go. You needed primer. Most of us had a wide range of primers. The OG, which I think I still have, I haven't touched this in such a long time, was the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This thing is slippery as hell. It does, I mean, I will say it does kind of fill in the pores, but slippery as hell. I don't know why I ever used to wear this. Makeup didn't stick on that. Or this was also really OG. I still live by this stuff. This is the Benefit Professional. I only use this stuff like on my no makeup days because it does do a really good job at filling in the primer. I still think it's a little bit too slippery to put any foundation on top, but 2016, we weren't worried about that. If Desi Perkins, Nicole Guerrero, Ayla Sarai were using these primers, I mean, everybody was using these primers. I'm not really too big of a primer girl now. I feel like now I've transitioned more to like skin tints or even like sunscreens as my base and really just relying on my skincare to take care of the rest. But when I do use a primer, I still use my fingers. I know some people use like brushes and sponges, but I've always used my fingers since 2016, baby. Moving on to eyeshadow. 2016 is really where eyeshadow just took off. Girls were wearing full-blown smoky eyes to the grocery store. I mean, the looks that people were serving in 2016 were just amazing. It was always big, it was always bold. It was either really warm tones, really cool tones, or a mixture of everything, and it was just like super colorful and popping. I think back then, eyeshadow used to take me the longest. It would be something that I really spent a lot of time on, blending and creating that perfect transition from colors. I did like to also dabble in just like rainbow color eyeshadow too. So there was a lot going on back then, but eyeshadow really was just like the main focus point of a lot of people's makeup. So we're gonna recreate something that gives off 2016 vibe. I haven't done like heavy eyeshadow like this probably since 2016. So we'll see where it ends up. Do you guys remember those transitions? This is what I came up with. I still don't think it's giving too much 2016 vibe, but the cut crease is definitely vibe, the glitter vibe, and the darkness. I used to always go for these tones, like browns and reds. Chef's Kiss, that used to be my comfort zone. When I would film YouTube videos, this is exactly how I would film it. I would do like kind of like my base first and then jump to the eyes and then back to the base. Right now I look like a bald little mole rat for some reason. Let's do the other eye just so I can show you guys what I did. People used to prime their lids with concealer. I used to, for some reason, always pick the brightest concealer possible to man to prep my eyelid. I don't know why I used to do this. I think I used to think it, you know, brightened the look, but like it all gets covered up by eyeshadow anyway, and like the only part that you really see is up here by the eyebrows, which I end up brightening later anyway. So I don't know, this is just what I used to do. I would blend it out with a brush first, and then I would go in with a beauty blender, and then I would go in with a little fluffy brush. Oh God. And then I would just set it with a nude shadow or like a bone colored shadow. The way I used to do my smoky eyes, I would always start at the outside and work my way in. That's still how I like to do them if I'm doing a smoky eye. I just use way more shadows now than what I did back then. I would literally just go straight up with like the darkest shadow and put it right there at the edge of my eye, really making it prominent. And then I would work it in the crease like this. And I would always do this part so dark I used to really just be heavy as shit with my hand too. And then after this, I would go in with whatever my transition shade was. So, I mean, now I'm using like a red burgundy type shade, and I would just kind of blend it over the harsh line right here because I thought this was good. And I mean, it did get the job done. I mean, I did the same exact technique on this eye and it looks fine, but there's just so many easier ways to do this now. And then I would go back in with my very first dark shadow and darken it up again. Outside, inner crease area. And then you guessed it, back again with the red. Oh, just so much shadow. And now that it looks like you have a black eye, I was using a makeup wipe, and then I would try to carve out like the cut crease area with some makeup remover. And that was mainly because I didn't like to get concealer on my brush. And then I would go back in with a little bit more of that concealer that we used as the primer. And this is how I would carve out my cut crease. I would start here at the bottom, near the lash line, like that. And then I would look up to the side, and then I would look down, and then it carved out this nice little outline for your cut crease to follow. And it ended up looking like this. And then I just used to go straight over that concealer with the sparkliest eyeshadow that I could find. And then to blend the two together, just grab that brush that you used for the outside. And really, I would just kind of like smudge over this edge to make sure that it was blended. The fact that I would spend this much time on my eyeshadow back then is just insane. And then clean up the edges with a little makeup wipe or a Q-tip. All the way back to the hairline. I would like my eyeshadow to be sharp as shit. Oh God, I can't wait to do the lower lash line. That was my shit. Now for foundation. If you are not using MAC Studio Fix foundation, I don't know what the hell you were using. 2016 was all about full coverage or nothing, and it was also about trying to find the right foundation shade. Clearly, this is not my shade. I honestly use this in the summer if I have events to go to, but back then I feel like my foundation was always mismatched, so we're rolling with it. This is the most full coverage foundation that I have, so we gotta make it work. I would literally dot it on my face just like this, and I would load my shit up. I'm talking everywhere. Basically finger painting my face. And a brush to blend it out? Absolutely not. We're going straight in with a beauty blender, and I would just pounce it all over my skin. We used to beat the shit out of our heads just like this, like really pushing the foundation into the skin. I think this was actually where like the term like beat your face actually came from, because people were literally doing this, and then it kind of transitioned into like, oh, full face beat, like full glam. But I really do think that this right here, this is what it originated from. 2016 Tarte Shape Tape also, I think, was a really huge trend. Everybody and their mom was using Tarte Shape Tape. It's still a really good concealer. I love Tarte Shape Tape, so I always repurchase this. The thing about the concealer though, back then, we would literally take the doe foot applicator, and then we were going like this all the way down, and then we would go all the way up. And we didn't stop there. We also colored it in. Yep, just like this. And we did the same thing to the other side. This hurts me so bad. Why would we do this? This is just so much wasted product. You thought we stopped there? Absolutely not. No, we're gonna add some to the chin, a little bit to the bridge of the nose, And then we were adding some right here to the center of the forehead to highlight, to brighten, of course. So you would literally just blend this out, which also took forever because, hello, look at all of this product here. Just blend it out the best that you can. My God, full coverage, honey. I still pretty much set my face the same way though. I continue to buff out my under eyes with my beauty sponge. I then stay looking up, but instead of using my typical little powder puff that I use now, back then I would literally just take my wet beauty sponge, dip it straight into the powder, and then I would set from there. Still continuing to look up. That is something that I still do today, but the only difference is the applicator that I use. 2016 was also when baking became a really, really big trend. I think some people still do it now. I don't, but I know back then I definitely did. So I also never cared about a nose contour or what my nose looked like. This was pretty much my contour. Contour and bronzer was all that existed in 2016 pretty much. So I would always go in with like a darker shade. And what I did back then was I would actually look for like the hollows of my cheek, which is literally like right here. And I would place the contour in there. Just like that. And I would go heavy as shit, just like this. And now looking at my makeup today, I definitely don't go that low. I actually put my bronzer above, right above that hollow of my cheek to give me a lifted look. You know what? I didn't use the pressing motions either. I always used swipe or no swiping motions. Oh my gosh, look how low my cheekbones are now. And then I would go in with some actual bronzer, and I would literally just place it in the same exact spot. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that 2016, everybody just didn't do blush. I personally did. When I was in my makeup phase, like starting my makeup phase, I was really obsessed with Nicole Guerrero. I still watch her to this day. She is just absolutely amazing. She was a big blush girly, so of course that meant I was a big blush girly. I would put blush right here on the apples of my cheek. That's all. I wouldn't push it back. Nope, no lift. Just right here in the front. I would just leave it like this. Look how low all of this looks. Oh my God, this is crazy. It was at this point where I would dust off my baking powder, my forehead. I would dust that off. I'd dust off my nose. And then for some reason, I thought that going over, you know, my bronzer and my blush would help it blend, but clearly it didn't, right? And then of course you could not ever forget the highlight. 2016 is where highlight started, and you had to obviously use a fan brush to apply it. I remember my favorite highlighter was Laura Geller's Gilded Honey. I was obsessed with that highlighter. I mean, I would basically bathe in that entire little thing. And it would be pretty intense, right? You would have this whole matte look, and then the highlight itself would just be absolutely intense. You would also put it underneath the brow, a little bit above the brow, and I used to take it in a C shape and go just like this. Yep, that was the vibe. I don't know why people stopped using highlight. I still use it very lightly now, but I noticed that not a lot of girls or guys use it anymore. And then we didn't stop there. No. You had to highlight the tip of your nose. You had to highlight a little bit of your cupid's bow. And you would also have to go in and highlight the inner corner of your eyes. Some girls did like down the bridge of the nose. I never did. At this point, I used to move on, I think, to my eyebrows. I used to use Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow. Oh my God, everybody was obsessed with that little pomade. I, however, have moved on from that phase in my life, and now I just use eyebrow pencils. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my eyebrows off camera. Okay, so I actually went a little bit further than the brows, but it's because this is all what's next anyway. So I did try to go heavy on my brows. Usually with that pomade, it was just, I mean, very difficult to blend. If you spend some time on it, you could get it. But I feel like my eyebrows back then were definitely like dark and a little bit boxier than what I would typically do now. And then I always moved on to the lower lash line and finished it off with some eyeliner. So that's what I did on the left side. I'm gonna do it with you guys anyway. So I would basically go in with whatever shadow was up here or try to recreate that same type of shade again. So I'll go in with that red first instead of doing the brown first like we did on the top. It's almost like we're going in reverse. I was such a fan of a heavy lower lash line. I think it used to make the look just so sexy and sultry. And then now after the red is down, I would go in with like that darker brown that we used on the outside of the top. And I would try to get as close to the lower lash line as I could. And then to finish it, I never left the house without throwing some eyeliner in my actual waterline. Now moving on to mascara. I feel like I've always been a big mascara girl. Like even when that was all I was allowed to wear in high school. My parents never let me wear makeup when I was in school, but I was only allowed to wear eyeliner and mascara, and I think that's really where my love for mascara came from. I would layer the shits out of my mascaras. I mean, having one mascara was never enough. I needed at least, at minimum, 3 mascaras. I would just layer those bitches up. In 2016, falsies were huge. Everybody would wear fake eyelashes. I feel like if you even look at my old makeup tutorials on YouTube, I did attempt to wear lashes in some of those videos, but honestly I never left the house with lashes on. It was something that just was never for me. It's still not for me. I would literally put lashes on for the sake of the video, and then I would take them off and just rock my normal lashes. I'm very grateful for the lashes that I have because I know a lot of girls especially don't have long, curly, natural lashes. So thank you, Jesus. All right, and then it wouldn't be a 2016 makeup look if we didn't finish off the look with a very dark lipstick. I think I'm gonna go with this one. This is Anastasia Liquid Lip in Heathers. Liquid lipsticks also became a really big thing in 2016. I feel like that's where they kind of skyrocketed and took over. So Anastasia Beverly Hills was running the game in liquid lips. And then to finish off the look, of course, you always had to set it. MAC Studio Fix Plus was and still is one of my very favorite setting sprays. However, I think I'm out. I don't know where it is. I can't find it. So we're setting with Urban Decay's All Nighter setting spray. And really, we just used to drown ourselves in this shit. And then I would honestly take one of these and I would just be like this. I feel like this lip looks black on camera, but it's not black, I swear. It's just a really, really deep maroon red. And this is it. This is my take on 2016 makeup. And here we go, guys. This is my take on 2016 makeup. This lip just is looking really, really dark on camera, but I promise you it's just a really deep, deep red. Overall, I'm definitely gonna say that the full coverage foundation every day, hell to the no do I do that now. 2016 was a year of just like trend starting, but also really kickstarting the beauty community, really starting to embracing women and men to play around with makeup, be creative, and ultimately be themselves. 2016 for me was definitely just a time where I fell in love with beauty, and even though I didn't really know what I was doing, I was acting like I did. Although I wouldn't wear a look like this today, I do think that 2016 just will always have a special place in everybody's heart, because come on, we were serving this in 2016. We were honestly just killing the game. Now I know the trend is more like natural, soft, aesthetic, whatever you want to call it. But regardless of what the trend is, just do whatever the hell you want. If you want to wear a full ass blacked out smoky eye every single fucking day, do it. I thought this was really, really fun, but I am dying to take it off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give me a like, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!